In the past, when we discussed an issue, it was basically in newspapers or on TV, which is called the public discourse space. Therefore, those who can participate in the discussion need to have some basic critical thinking skills. The articles they write can convince others and impress others. We can also choose our own positions to express agreement or opposition. However, since fewer and fewer people read newspapers and watch TV now, everyone can choose to speak on their mobile phones. If you tell me a lot of truths, I don't like you, I hate you, so I will just block you. The result is something called an information cocoon. Imagine that a person is wrapped in a cocoon and you live in your own information cocoon. You choose the source of information for yourself by blacklisting and blocking every day. You only communicate with people who resonate with you and then express the same meaning in the same group. In this process, you will find that independent thinking becomes less and less. This is the opportunity for everyone to speak up brought by the mobile internet. It does not make each of us be able to look at problems more scientifically and patiently, but makes us very impatient. If you look at the comments under those short videos, most people just leave a harsh word and turn around and leave. Because I can scold you, but you can't scold me, I am hiding in the dark. Therefore, this way of expression that lacks research, lacks ability, and does not need to take more responsibility, has made our public discourse space become less and less. This reminds me of what Voltaire once said. He said that he thinks independently and allows others to have the same privilege to do so, in your life. What we should be most careful about is deceiving ourselves. The chances of deceiving ourselves are far greater than the chances of others deceiving us. If you are very angry at the moment, as long as you have this emotion, you will never do any deep reflection. Because the power of emotions is very terrifying. So what is the importance of philosophers? His responsibility is to be able to calmly and objectively put forward different opinions. This is the responsibility of intellectuals. However, a large number of people who do not have this kind of thinking training are easily led by emotions and draw a simple conclusion. Just like when Rousseau debated with Voltaire and Diderot, what Rousseau wrote was quite reasonable. He was a good writer. Then how did people discredit him? They just said he was a bad person. So, can you still believe what this person said? This is unbelievable. So, Rousseau had a very hard life during his lifetime. But if you study Rousseau's era today, you will know that in France at that time, 47% of children were sent to the orphanage. Half of the children born were given to the state to raise. So what Rousseau did was the choice of half of the people at that time. He had a child, and he felt that because of his poor economic conditions, he lived at the bottom of society. He was not like Voltaire, who lived at the aristocratic level. His life at the bottom was really difficult and painful. Why didn't the aristocrats send their children? The aristocrats had money, nannies and palaces, so they could afford to raise them. But most of those who worked hard at the bottom chose to send their children to the orphanage. So you use this simple fact to attack this person, stir up a huge wave of emotions in your heart, and you will come to a conclusion that is not favorable to Rousseau. Once you understand the power of your emotions, you need to cultivate empathy. A person can think in all directions only if he has empathy and can learn to look at things from different perspectives. The author gives a very interesting way to cultivate empathy, which is to learn to read more autobiographies and read more autobiographies of different people in history. For example, after you read an article like Rousseau and his Confessions, and then you hear others slandering Rousseau, you will have a different idea, right? Well, some people don't write autobiographies, but read biographies, because those who write his biographies will mostly look at these things from his perspective. If we look back and you slowly gain more understanding, right? Because we understand we should be tolerant, so we should cultivate empathy and build our ability to listen and understand. Your worries will also decrease, and society's worries will also decrease, and the world will be peaceful. Where does world peace come from? It comes from more of us learning to look at things from different perspectives. Put your feet in other people's shoes and feel it, then you will find that there are fewer conflicts. I have been a reporter for so many years, and my biggest feeling is that there are very few shocking news in the world. Almost none, but we see a lot of shocking news every day. Why? It's because you don't know more. If you know more about the stories and people behind the news, you will know that it is a normal thing. After the normal thing happened, those who wanted to make the news happen only intercepted a small part of it and magnified it for you, and then made you extremely angry. The first principle of journalists said that journalists cannot expect news to happen. That is to say, you saw something and thought, violence, blood, a car accident, anything that can attract people's attention. When a reporter expects news to happen, it is easy for you to exaggerate. Misinformation and propaganda have become powerful tools to manipulate public opinion, as even the slightest manipulation of information can stir up public anger. It's not necessary to fabricate stories, but rather omit crucial facts to sway public opinion. We've seen countless instances in the past where the public was enraged because of incomplete information. Nowadays, even amateurs have access to social media platforms to spread disinformation and misinformation, making it easier than ever to influence people's emotions and beliefs. Every amateur can edit the material. This is very dangerous. So at this time, you will find that there will be more and more things without bottom line. This is why I think it is so important to think independently about this book. The easiest way to stop people from thinking independently is to stir up their emotions. As long as their emotions are stirred up, the number of clicks will be high. It's that simple. Oh, so you must be careful. Your emotions are wealth in the eyes of others, and this is very dangerous.